What's going on, guys? My name is Zed and welcome to this video. I was just recommended this channel here back on my TV screen called Movie Cave, and I've been watching some of his back catalog and even his most recent Blu-ray haul video, and it got me thinking. I should probably talk about all the movies that I've had sitting here on my dresser to show off. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do exactly that. And you see back there, he's holding his copy of Walk the Line on Blu-ray. Here's my copy of it. Look how cool that is. This is something that I've had for a while now. It was actually gifted to me by my uncle, I believe. Joaquin is sitting upside down, but that's okay. But look how cool this is. I love that. It's such a cool edition of the movie. That's in backwards. Anyway, like I was saying, it is such a cool edition of the movie here on DVD, and a really good one as well. So we're going to put that back there. Sorry, Joaquin. And we're going to move on to the rest of the DVDs and Blu-rays I picked up, starting off with these over here. So I recently picked up this tin box set, or tin collection, on eBay. And it's the high school flashback edition of The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, and 16 Candles. So 3 John Hughes films, and this is absolutely fantastic. It's in the shape of a locker door, and just look at that. And yes, those 3 movies are stored inside. Here is the Breakfast Club. I love this cover artwork for this movie, one of my favorites. I also own a Blu-ray flashback edition or something of that nature, which is also pretty cool. There is Weird Science. I watched this movie the day I got this tin because I had never seen it, and it made me profoundly uncomfortable. Definitely wouldn't be made today, and I don't know why it was made back then. It is such a hard film to get through. I found myself wanting to pause the movie several times and just give up on it. And then lastly, we have 16 Candles. Some of these movies I already owned, like The Breakfast Club I own a couple times, 16 Candles I owned once before, but I love this tin. Just so cool. It's gonna look great on my shelves when I eventually get to putting them in. My movies are stacked up everywhere they can be. Like back there, movies. Over here, movies. Over there, movies. Over there, movies. And this door, right here, behind this door, let's see. Yeah, movies. And then we move on to this 2-disc special edition of Transformers. Now, I have been eyeballing this exact edition of this movie on many different secondhand websites for a while now, and I am so happy that I waited out on it. I held off and I found it in person. That's the thrill of the hunt, in my opinion. I love going to thrift stores, which is the majority of where this came from, and the majority of where most of my stuff comes from is my local Goodwill, and I held off and I got it. So here in the back are the 2 disc trays. It clips at the top and then it folds out. The first disc is the feature film, the second disc is the special features, and then this right here, this disc tray itself, transforms into my main man, Optimus Prime. Look at how cool this is. I love this edition of the movie. It is so cool. And when I showed this to my buddy, he said, that looks like what the artists from South Park would show on their TV show if Optimus Prime was a guest, which I think he actually was a background character in an episode, and he looked pretty similar.
I am Optimus Prime. Autobots transform and roll out.
Just, gotta get my inner Peter Cullen out there. But yeah, this is a really cool edition of the movie, like I've said 6 times. And I love that I could add it to my collection for the low price of that much monies. Oh, and look, it's even cooler because... that was not supposed to happen! Woody is down! Woody has face planted! So what I was trying to show off was the adhesive is releasing from the plastic, so why not just fix it while we're here with a little bit of crazy glue. Sponsored. They're sponsoring the video. Isn't that crazy? They're not sponsoring the video. No one No one at Crazy Glue wants to sponsor my crazy ass, especially since my goddamn glue stick's broken. God damn it. Apparently I never closed it, and we have no more glue. We have wood glue, but I don't think that's going to work personally, so we're going to have to hold off on that for now. Next up, we have something that I picked up from my local Big Lots. And this movie I had watched one time previously, and that is The Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And while I had my little brother staying with me, we watched it again, and we both really, really enjoyed it. It's a fun movie. It's a very silly, definitely... Maybe shouldn't have watched it with my little brother. There's definitely some scenes where it's like, oh, yeah. But, you know, we did, and he had a good time, and so did I. And then we have right here, I think I picked all these up from my local Big Lots, Five Below. And they're all pretty good titles, in my opinion. And I rewatched this one as well, and that is Pete's Dragon. I've been wanting to pick this up for a while. There's this Region B Blu-ray that I saw on eBay a couple times for like $7, and it looked pretty cool. And but I held off on it, and I got it for $5 at Five Below. And then next up we have Fred Claus, starring Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti. Vince Vaughn is one of my all-time favorite actors to watch. I'm drawn to him. I want him to play the Thing in the MCU. That's my fan casting. I think it would work. But there we go. Fred Claus. Watched that last year for the first time. Thought it was fun. Another Christmas fun film is Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick in Deck the Halls. This has been at my local Five Below for the past 3 years. Haven't picked it up, decided to do it this time, and there we go. And then we have not one, but 2 new Star Wars films to add to the collection. Solo, a Star Wars story, which I think is severely underrated. It's a lot of fun, and just, it's aesthetically, I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars films. And then we have The Last Jedi, which I love the aesthetic of it. It's a gorgeous looking film, but there's a lot of choices that I don't particularly like. But look, I'm not here to argue about Star Wars movies and stuff with people. I'm just here to show off my movies, people. So there we go. I think I'm pretty close to completing my Star Wars collection. I think all I need now is The Rise of Skywalker, which I've never seen because I was too scared to see it. And then we have the Tigger movie. I loved this movie growing up. My VHS tape was on its last leg, and I found this one. There was a bunch of Winnie the Pooh movies that unfortunately were destroyed because children's titles, folks. Children's titles are hit or miss at thrift stores. They're more than likely going to be hockey pucks, but I took the chance, and I didn't take any chance. I opened it up and looked at the disc. But fortunately, the one that was in the best condition, in perfect condition, was the Tigger movie, which is my favorite, and I rewatched it, and I still love it. It is so, so good. Tigger, oh my God, he is such a fun character. And this is a very, this movie's sad. It's pretty sad. It's pretty profound, actually. Being the only Tigger, like, that's kind of his mantra. You know, the greatest things about Tiggers is I'm the only one, and this movie explores that and how sad that actually kind of is. So it's definitely an interesting time. No! Whew! God, that was a tough tumble. I apologize for that. But next up, I picked up Sharpay's Fabulous Adventure, which now completes my entire High School Musical saga. Let's call it a saga. I love the High School Musical movies, and this spin-off is one that I have never seen. It was at that time where, like, High School Musical 3, I believe, had come out already, and I was not totally gonna go watch it in the theater, but I was excited for it, so I had to wait for it to come on DVD to come. I never watched it. I never watched it because I was of that age where I was like, I'm too cool now for High School Musical. And now I'm like, hey, look at me, I just watched High School Musical. But this right here is that spin-off movie in between, after? I don't know what the hell this movie was, but I picked it up and I can't wait to watch it. So there we go. Oh, baby. There are going to be some people that think that I didn't take my medication today. And jokes on them, I don't take medication. Not anymore. And then next up we have Super 8, which is a upgrade for me. And this is a really cool addition to the movie. I love the yellow and the red. Great film if you've never seen it. It's like an alien invasion film. Found footage? No, I don't think it's found footage, but the kids in the movie are making a Super 8 home film. Like, they're making a little film, and aliens just happen to invade, and it's a pretty damn good time in my opinion. And if you thought for a second that I was done talking about High School Musical, just get ready for the High School Musical, the concert. This right here is the live performance they put on, and I have never seen it, nor do I think I ever will, because these sorts of things kind of anxiety, they instill anxiety and fear and like, ooh, what's gonna happen? It's like watching The Office and you're like, Michael, what are you gonna say next, Michael? But I had to pick it up because, for one, it's High School Musical, and I already established that I love these movies, and two, it says Disney, and if it says Disney, I say it comes home with me. So we had to bring that home. Next up we have The Little Mermaid. This is kind of grimy, but the discs are in better condition than the one I have, plus it's a variant cover, so I had to pick it up. It's the Platinum Edition, no slip cover, but it does have some pretty cool special features, which when it comes to Disney movies, I always like to watch those. Let's go on to some more Disney, why not? We have $1 Million Arm starring John Hamm, one of the most handsome men in the world. And I watched this movie the day after I picked it up, and it was pretty damn good. I really enjoyed it, and I love Disney sports films, so there we have that. Some more Disney with the 2-disc special edition. Then we have the Platinum Edition of Bambi. I am trying to write a little script for a video that I'm planning on doing, and I wanted to talk about Bambi in the video, and I didn't have a copy of it, so I'm super happy I found one. I have found like 3 or 4 in the past, but like I said, Disney titles, kids titles in general, are very hit or miss. But I finally have this, so here we go. Next up on the pile, we have Saving Mr. Banks. Tom Hanks is my favorite actor of all time, and seeing him portray Walt Disney is just magical. This tells the story about Walt's, hardships and difficulties when it came to securing the rights to make a Mary Poppins movie. I believe it was his daughter who was really, really into the book, and she wanted her daddy to make a motion picture of her favorite book. And it's a really, really well done story. It's one that from the title, you might think like, what does that even mean? Like Saving Mr. Banks, but it's all explained. And once it is, you're like, oh, duh, of course. The one thing I love about this movie is there's one secret detail where, have you ever seen pictures of Walt Disney pointing? Like he's pointing at things and whatever, and there's this signature pointing technique he does with his 2 fingers. Well, what that actually is Walt Disney, for the majority of his life, was a avid smoker, and he would people would take pictures of him, like official pictures around the park, while he was interacting and talking to folks, and sometimes he would be holding a cigarette in his hands, and they would basically paint out the cigarette. And you can also see a lot of pictures where Walt Disney's hiding cigarettes and stuff in the palm of his hand, behind his back, whatever, talking to children. But he never wanted kids to see Walt Disney smoking, so he would always have basically painters come in and paint out the cigarettes. So that's why there's this very famous Walt Disney pointing technique, and in the movie Tom Hanks does that. He might smoke in the movie, but just as a little nod to that whole piece of trivia, he does this pointing technique throughout the movie. Just thought that was an interesting little fact. And then next up we have Frank, and just from the cover, this movie is going to be a beautiful weird. And I don't know much about it, but from the looks of it, this guy wears a mask and he is a musician. So that I saw this movie making its rounds back in if I make a guess, 2016 is when it came out, if I had to make a kind of a cognitive guess. But right here we have The Pink Panther, an old Blockbuster release of the movie. Have you ever had it happen where you watch a movie and then you go to your local thrift store and you find the movie? I have it happen to me all the time. And just recently at my last video was a Goodwill vlog, Space Cowboys. I pointed that out in the edit that, Space Cowboys was on the shelf, and unfortunately I didn't see it there, and I hopefully will go back here soon and pick it up. But I just watched that movie, and then 3 days later, I find it at Goodwill. White Chicks, same thing. That happened with the Pink Panther. I watched both the first film and its sequel, and I then found it. I didn't own it in my collection. I don't care for Steve Martin's portrayal as Inspector Clouseau. I made a whole video about that on my TikTok, which I will link in the comments down below, or the description down below. But yeah, so Pink Panther, picked that up. Speaking of Pink and the High School Flashback collection, look at this, a John Hughes production, Pretty in Pink. It still has the security sticker on it, and I really want to watch this movie. When I was writing a script for a video that never came to fruition, I was talking about Pretty in Pink, but I didn't have a copy of it. Same with Bambi, but now I do. It was just one of those things, again, where I thought to myself, man, I really need Pretty in Pink for this video, and then I found it. So that's cool. And then the Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius movie. This was the prequel movie to set up the eventual series on Nickelodeon. Watched this at the beginning of the year. Still holds up. So much fun. This was another one where it's a full screen edition. God damn it. Anyway, when my little brother was staying with me, we, to pass the time, would watch movies, but we would also play those movie trivia games on YouTube. And one of them was guess the movie soundtrack, or guess the movie theme song. And Chicago came up, and it sounded so familiar, but I couldn't place it. Like, it was that kind of Moulin Rouge sort of sound to it, and I just couldn't nail it. What's the one with Cher? I can't remember what that one's called, but I couldn't really nail it, and Chicago came up, and I was like, I don't own Chicago. But this is the Academy Award winner for Best Picture, so a new Best Picture to my collection. And but it's full screen. Oh well, happens. On the lookout for a widescreen now. And then another kind of weirdly wonderful movie that I haven't seen, but I have heard a lot about. Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson. Basically, from what I can gather, Joaquin Phoenix has this little like AI sort of thing, like an Alexa. And the Alexa over time becomes more and more cognitive and becomes more and more human-esque, and he falls in love with the AI Alexa thing. I don't know, but I really want to watch it. Academy Award winner for Best Original Screenplay. Cool. Old rental copy as well, which I always love. I think that's a really cool little, adds character to it. The Aristocats, which I should have picked up the other copy I saw the other day at Goodwill, because it was a variant of this, but maybe it will still be there, who knows. But this is the special edition, the Walt Disney Jazzy Classic, the Aristocats. I think I watched this year already. It's fun, it's decent. I love these two dogs especially. Their scenes with that guy are my favorite. And what this movie really offers to me is this sort of bygone era of Disney voice actors. They just sound so proper and so authoritative and just so crisp. I love it. It's the same thing with like Baloo and Bagheera from the Jungle Book, the original Jungle Book movie. I think I own a copy. I have a copy right down there. But I just love the sound of classic Disney voice actors. There's just such a professionalism to them. But there we have that. And then we're on to the last couple here, and they're all multi-features. This is another one where I watched the movie, and then I went to Goodwill, and I found it, and I didn't have it for my collection. And that is the Yabba Dabba 2-pack of the Flintstones and the Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas. The first Flintstones movie always has a piece in my heart. I watched it a lot at my grandmother's growing up. And I rewatched it, like I said, and I absolutely love the sets and the animatronics and the props and the costumes for this movie. It's just incredible to think that stuff's all built. Like, I think Dino and like a couple like little things here and there had like computer effects to them, but even Dino had a puppet for like close-up shots. I love it. It's again another bygone era of filmmaking where it's just easier and cheaper to shoot stuff on a blue screen with minimal stuff than it is to build out an entire city, the entire city of Bedrock. It's just way cheaper to do it in the computer. Viva Rock Vegas, I don't think I've ever seen, but now I can. And isn't this cool? It's a very cool, it's textured like a rock and it's all embossed, and it's pretty. And lastly, for the movies, we have the Audrey Hepburn collection, including Breakfast at Tiffany's, Sabrina, and the Roman Holiday. I already own the Roman Holiday, but I can just give that away. And I really was excited for Breakfast at Tiffany's. But I just love box sets. As you guys know, I've been collecting a bunch of box sets recently. Now, as you can see, the box set itself is a bit tattered, and she's sagging a bit, but baby, we're all sagging somewhere. And but I think a little tender loving care, we can patch her up and she'll be good as new. But I love that. I don't think I've ever seen a Audrey Hepburn movie from my recollection. But now I can. Oh, she also has a little rip right next to her on the spine. Oh, that's sad. But that is it for the movies themselves. But there is, for those who want to stick around, a couple little things here and there, like collection pieces, collectibles, that I would like to show off real quick. So let's get into it. I got 3 little keychains here, Looney Tunes keychains from the Five Below, where I got those movies. We have Tweety Bird, we have Bugs, and we have Taz. They have Daffy Duck on the cardboard backing, but I couldn't find Ducky. I couldn't find Daffy while I was there, but I picked up those 3, and then let me pick up the camera, and I can show you around the room and some other stuff that I found. So the other day, I went to my local Dollar Tree to pick up some snacks and stuff for when my little brother came and stayed with me. And I found these beauties right here, and I picked up the entire set. As you can see, there's only 4 to collect, and I got them all. The only one I wish I would have picked up a duplicate for is that Tinkerbell, because I would have loved to put it on my jacket that I wear. And look at it. Doesn't it look so fashionable on me? I look so nice, and there's so many buttons and patches and stuff. And I would have loved to hang it on this little pocket right here. But yeah, alas, you know, I'm sure there'll be another time where I can pick it up, but that Tinkerbell is so cool. And then moving over to this side of my room, we find ourselves at my Jurassic Park shelf, and you see that red Velociraptor right there. Well, I picked that baby up at the Dollar Tree for just $1, and I thought that it would look really good next to Blue and on my shelf. A lot of the dinosaur figures don't really feel like they'll mesh well together with my Jurassic World shelves, but that one did, so I picked it up and I added it. Same with this one. I picked up a duplicate T-Rex. These are Jurassic World branded toys. And I wanted another T-Rex, as I do have another baby Blue right here out of the box, so picked up that one as well. And if we travel just one more shelf lower, we have this right here, which is something I picked up at my local Ollie's Bargain Outlet, and it's a Jurassic Park Jeep. Apparently there's like a barcode that you scan, but I had to pick this up. It's so cool. And let me tell you, when I saw it, my jaw almost hit the floor. I couldn't believe it. And then let's look at this amazing puzzle that I found at my local Dollar Tree. It showcases a bunch of amazing classic horror monsters. I actually found this on accident because I left the puzzle aisle, and it wasn't until I went into like the arts and crafts aisle that I saw this just stored in the back of the rest of the puzzles, and I was like, wow, look at this. We have Dracula, Frankenstein's monster, Nosferatu, the creature from the Black Lagoon. We have the Bride of Frankenstein, and I'm assuming that's like a space alien of some sort. But I love this. You can hear my morning voice. I love this. 48 pieces. I really hope to one day do this, which should be a very easy process, but to also frame it and hang it up somewhere. This is just too cool. Now there's a couple more things that I could have shown you, but just to keep the video from becoming any more longer than it already is, I'm going to end it off there. But not before I thank you guys for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. And until next time, guys, I'll be talking to you when I talk to you. Peace.